Hello everyone and welcome back to the video. Today we're going to be running through the biggest patch we've received probably ever for Age of Empires 2. Now keep in mind it's not public, it's currently available on the PUP server, which is just like a private server right before the it goes to public. And yeah, it's going to be absolutely huge. There's a ton of changes, there's a new tech, there's tons of balance choices that the devs made, and this balance patch is primarily centered around buffing infantry. They've heard our cries about infantry being weak, about how knights and archers are taking over. Every 2v2, every team game is like that, every 1v1 gears towards those units, and finally we're getting the buffs we need on infantry to make those guys a viable class as well. I'm currently live streaming on Twitch as well. If you guys want to join us here from YouTube, check the link below. I always link my Twitch, and we're live pretty much every day playing some high-level 1v1s and just having a good time around our wonderful AOE2 community. Let's go ahead and hop right into the changes, though, as you can see in the background. And yeah, shout out to Ponuno on Reddit for posting this. A couple other guys posted theirs as well. But yeah, let's hop right in. So, edit, check out if Ornlu video has much more complete list of hidden changes. So, shout out Ornlu YouTube channel as well. I actually did watch Ornlu's YouTube video, and I messaged Ornlu to see if I can use the list he made in the comments below, but I didn't want to use it, and he hasn't answered. I think he was busy with something else. I didn't want to use it without his permission. It just felt wrong. So, but yeah, highly recommend you guys check out Ornlu's channel in general. He made a video about the balance changes, and he has an amazing YouTube channel in general. Tons of campaign content, tons of interesting civilization content, and yeah, pretty solid. So, hopping right into the changes here. First one is a new global tech, Gambesons. Militia line get +1 pierce armor. Now, not every civilization gets Gambesons. Notably, Malians and Goths don't get it, so they're not going to get that crazy pierce armor on their already strong pierce armor units. However, a lot of civs like Aztecs, Japanese, Bulgarians, strong infantry civs are getting this tech. And this tech, you have to get supplies first, and then you can get Gambesons. And so it's, if your opponent has this tech, they're pretty heavily committed to the militia line. So just in general, if you see your opponent on this, prepare to counter militia line in some way. But the important thing about it is that the +1 pierce armor will help the most against skirmishers in late game. Skirmishers do 7 damage in late game fully upgraded. Militia has now, after this tech, 6 pierce armor. Before they had 5. So any civ with Gambesons will destroy skirmishers in late game with champions. And what I suggest, predict is that we're going to see a lot of champion halberdier comps that will be extremely hard to deal with if you don't have gold. Like when the guy's out of gold, champion halberdier will just completely destroy. It's going to be similar to like eagle halb combos. So keep an eye out for that. I think it's going to be very strong. Thank you SJT for the tier 1 sub, by the way. Next up we have Elite Step Lancer based pierce armor is now 2 instead of 1, so a buff to the Elite Step Lancer. This is good. Elite Step Lancer is like really bad. Step Lancer in Castle is great. Elite Step Lancer not so much. So a small buff there helps a little bit. Pikeman upgrade is reduced from 215 food 90 gold to 160 food 90 gold. So pretty good buff on the Pikeman upgrade. I think it also researches 15 seconds faster, by the way. So just in general, Pikeman going to be a little bit more of a viable option. Nilly was right, question mark, who knows. But either way, I'm kind of conflicted about this because Pikeman and Castle aren't great. So it's nice that they get a buff, but Halberdiers and Imp are really broken. So I wish if they buff the Pikeman upgrade and like lower the cost, they should increase the cost of the Halberdier upgrade, at least by like 100 food or something like that. Halberdier upgrade is still expensive, so it's fair enough, but yeah, that's kind of one thing I'm scared of. Halberdier, especially Halbs mixed with champions now, I think that's going to be a really strong comp, and we might be headed towards a pure infantry meta. Next up, we have Eagle Line cost is now 25 food, 50 gold from 20 food, 50 gold. So +5 food cost per Eagle. This is super dangerous. It's a small nerf to the Eagle Line, which is warranted. Eagles are really strong, but when you're buffing champions and at the same time nerfing Eagles, champion is the counter to Eagle. So now we're nerfing this unit and buffing its counter. Eagles might end up being useless in this patch. This is something very problematic. I recommend they don't do this change and just wait to see how Gambeson's militia line up against Mezzo first. Elite Elephant Archer upgrade now costs 800 wood, 500 gold. It was previously 1,000 food and 800 gold. Thanks Roxy for the gifted sub to Daniel. We got Pro players in the chat as well. Cats in the background making noise. All is good. And now you have, so yeah, Elephant Archer, you know, small buff to the upgrade. Actually, pretty big buff to the upgrade. You save a lot of food. The unit costs food, so pretty nice. And then you have Heavy Scorpion upgrade costing 800 food and 900 wood. Previously it was 1,000 food, 1,100 wood. So minus 200 wood, minus 200 food. Pretty big buff to the Heavy Scorp upgrade. I still think the unit's not great, but it's going to be pretty solid. And yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at the next one. Siege Elephant upgrade costs 850 food. Previously 650 food. Fair enough. I mean, I don't think we needed to nerf this, but I don't mind. Sappers grants villagers +3 damage against rams. I don't really like this one. Also, it's worth noting that Treb counts as a ram, so Sappers, villagers will be great against rams and Trebs. And they also swapped out the gold cost of Sappers and made it wood instead. So it's a big buff to Sappers, which I like. I like seeing that tech a bit more. However, I honestly feel like rams aren't really in the meta right now. They're not very strong, and so buffing villagers against rams as well, especially with sappers being a really fast tech to research, might push rams even further away from the meta. So fair enough. But yeah, that's a change I'm not really a huge fan of. Next up, we have Civ-specific changes. We'll start with Celts. Stronghold castles now also heal infantry units around castles in 7 tiles. Ooh, I kind of like that. Dude, that's sick. I think that's a good mechanic for the game in general, having your castles healing units around them. But I like that it's specifically tied to a unique tech and tied only to infantry, so it doesn't become like super broken with like archer civs sitting under castles never dying. But yeah, like healing infantry units under the castle is really sick. Like that's a really cool change. Big fan of this one. Also, Stronghold now has 33% faster fire, I believe, instead of 25%, so a small buff there. Next, we have Bengalis. New bonus cavalry +2 damage against skirmishers. So new civ bonus. Cavalry +2 damage against skirms. That's going to buff their Ratha and their light cav. I don't know if it applies to elephants. I mean, that's fair enough, but yeah, I don't know why we're buffing Bengalis, to be honest. They're kind of in a good spot right now, which is weird. Okay, next we have Maya monks. Now also take 10% less pop space. Monks and villagers. I don't like that at all. I don't like that at all. I don't know why we're buffing Bengalis so hard. And like we're buffing them in the places where they're already strong, which is like monks and Rathas. Like those are the 2 power units. And now we're buffing them even harder. This is a weird one, guys. I'm not a huge fan of this. I feel like one or the other would have been fine, but both at once just feels really crazy to me. It's not going to be that big of a deal because it's like it's a weird, like, you know, it's not like knights +5 attack or anything like easy to use, but it's like they're going to get, like, if they have late game with 20-30 monks, they're going to get 3 extra units, for example, and monks are already really strong for Bengali. It's like the core part of their composition. So it's a bit annoying, but it's, you know, it's a pretty small buff at the end of the day. Byzantines, Greek fire now also grants +5 blast damage to bomber towers. Whoa, okay. That's interesting. Bomber tower is going to have +5 blast damage. So it's going to be like killing 1 unit and hurting the units around it. Not a huge buff, but I kind of like it. Fair. Berber Vills move only 5% faster in Dark Age, still 10% in Feudal. This is simply to nerf the Berber villager rush that we see pretty common at lower levels, because people you know, don't expect it or whatnot. It's a pretty good change. That strategy is pretty degenerate. Next up, we have Bohemians. Hussite reforms cost reduced to 500 food, 450 gold. Okay, that's the monk tech. Okay, fair enough. I mean, a small buff to Bohemians is good after they got a couple nerfs. Next up, we have Britons. Team bonus, Archer Rangers work 10% faster. Whoa! Finally! Britons have been absolutely the best civ on team games forever, and this change might actually set them a little bit further behind. God bless. This is finally a really good meta change. Britons have been so strong for so long, and finally they're getting a small nerf, and I think the best way possible. Where's the nerf Britons guy, please? That guy was going crazy for a long time on my YouTube channel, but yeah, I mean, dude, this is it's a pretty good nerf. It's a small nerf, but it's gonna impact their team games a lot. So good stuff there. Next, we have Burgundians, Flemish Revolution. Now Flemish Militia train in barracks. Okay, we're buffing Burgundians. No, I'm just kidding. Base cost now is 200 food, 150 gold, plus 10 food, plus 5 gold for each villager. Previously, 1200 food, 650 gold. Flemish Militia is now costing 50 food, 15 gold, and has less HP, less attack, less armor. Okay, so they're basically trying to nuke this tech. I still think it's going to be decent in some cases, but it's probably going to be a lot weaker, which is good. Remove it is the easiest solution, to be honest. Just remove it. Anyway, Burmese Elite Arambai upgrade cost 1,000 food, 750 gold. Previously, 1,100 food, 675 gold. They're just changing the costs around. This feels like just a nerf for the sake of a nerf, to be honest. I don't really see the point of this one, but fair enough. Chinese now start with plus 2 vills but minus 150 food and minus 50 wood. Previously plus 3 vills but minus 200 food and 50 wood. I hate this. This sucks. This change sucks. Chinese were a classic civ. 20 years, always having the same start. Yes, it's hard for noobs, it's hard for new players, but it's good for pros. Let's have one civ in the game that's hard to play. Why not? Why we have to make it so easy for everyone? I don't like this change. I hope it gets reverted. Let's keep some legacy changes. It's really important to do so. So I really don't like that one, but fair enough. I'm not a gatekeeper. Twitch chat's calling me a gatekeeper now, but I just feel like your one civ feels fine to keep like a little. Like it was interesting to see the Chinese win rate across all levels, for example. Anyway, Dravidian siege weapons cost 33% less wood. Whoa, that's a really big bonus. Okay, I'm cooking a little bit. Hear me out. Dravidians, they now get bomber cannon from last patch. They're gonna get their militia line buffed, and now they're getting siege weapons buffed. Dravidians might be top tier, honestly. Dravidians, yeah, Trebs costing less, bomber cannons costing less. Not their rams because those cost food. Yo, Dravidians, honestly looking dangerous. Next, Ethiopians, Royal Hair's network. Now camel units and Shotel warriors get -3 damage from mounted units. Okay, so buffing Ethiopian camel, giving them a little bit more flexibility. Shotel warriors getting -3 damage from mounted units is pretty nice. Shotels are pretty decent in general, like in certain specific instances. So getting a small buff might be pretty good. And then team bonus outposts now also cost no stone. Great team bonus, amazing. Outposts in general are underused. This change for the Ethiopians will make them used much more often. Because the problem with an outpost is the fact that they cost stone, they throw off your builds, you can't get 2 TCs in Castlade if you use them. Ethiopians will be able to use them a little bit more easily. Same for their teammates. Pretty sick. Next, you have the Gujaras. Sharamsha Riders now cost 70 food, 30 gold. Previously 70 food, 20 gold. Their unique tech now costs 500 food, 450 gold. Previously 200 food, 450 gold. Another nerf to Gujaras. This civ was problematic. This is a huge nerf, to be honest. That's a double nerf. I think it's a good nerf, but I'm just worried about both coming at the same time. I think Gujaras gonna go downhill. This will be on YouTube later, yes. Gujaras going downhill, guys. Infantry getting buffed. Gujara unique unit being complete ass cheeks like 90% of the time. And now Gujara getting nerfed again. That's a recipe for Gujaras getting pushed out of the meta. And also Sharamsha Rider's reload time is now 2 seconds instead of 175 on their shield. So fair enough. Ooh, a buff to Goths. Goths hunt lasts 20% longer. This is a good change because we're buffing infantry line for other civilizations and not really for Goths. So Goths getting a buff to stay competitive makes sense. I kind of like this. I think Goths might be actually picked in tournaments by people other than MBL and Winchester after this buff, to be honest. Because now, when you have the laming potential of Goth early game, plus the cheaper militia in Dark Age, plus the Goth hunt lasting longer, I'm cooking up a forward Vil lame with Goth right away, get Loom right away, send a Vil forward to lame, into Drush with the cheaper militia, into fast castle because we got longer lasting hunt. I'm cooking it for real, guys. I think that's going to be a pretty solid strategy off meta, countering some archer civs. Next we have Huns. Atheism costs 500 food, 300 wood. Previously was 500 food, 500 gold. Good change. Atheism's buns. And yeah, not much to say here. Inca's military units cost minus 50% Dark Age, minus 20 in Feudal, minus 25 Castle, minus 30% Imp. Less food. Ooh, big buff to Incas. That's a huge buff. Let's think of what this affects. This affects Kameyuks, Eagles, Skirms, Halbs, Shalata Warriors, Slingers. Wow, this is like all their units basically. That's a crazy buff. And champions, of course, which are now going to be pretty strong. They lost supplies though, so they lost supplies, but still like really strong. This is better than supplies, right? Minus 30. What's supplies? It's minus 20%, right? No, it's minus 25. So this is actually better than supplies in late game. All right, new team bonus. Start with Llama. Previously was +2 line of sight for Skirms and Pikes. That's a good one. Everyone on the team starting with the Llama. That's a cute change. I like that one. Andean Slings now also grant Slingers +1 attack. Double buffs. Why are we double buffing civs? Slinger base cost 40 food, 40 gold. Previously 30 food, 40 gold. Kameyuk base cost. Oh shit. So they're upping the base cost of these units that will get reduced by the bonus. We're double buffing Incas. I'm nervous about that. Even though it's a small buff, double buffing is always like Incas might become the best mezzo all of a sudden. Who knows? We'll see. Next, you have Japanese. Kataparuto costs 550 wood, 300 gold. Ooh, pretty big price decrease by 200 wood, 100 gold. I like that. Japanese not really dominating the meta. They're pretty good. But, you know, I think maybe we can see Spirit of the Law get in a couple games off Viper with this tech now, maybe. No, looking pretty strong. I think that's a good change. Lithuanians. Now each town center provides 100 food. Previously plus 750 food at the start. Oh, that's disgusting. That's so bad. Ew. I hate this change. I hate this change so much. The Lithuanians were fine. Just leave them. Lithuanians were so good on hybrid maps and bad in like Arabia style maps versus like faster paced civs. That completely changes the identity of Lithuanians. I hate that. Because the whole point of Lithuanians is to go 1 TC early Castle Age and pick up the relics. You don't want to add TCs. But now you get 100 food at the start of the game, and then you get an extra 100 per town center. So it's overall a buff, but it's a buff in the weirdest way. It applies to the initial TC, yes. It's a buff in the weirdest way. I don't want to see Lithuanians getting a buff like this. Lithuanians were completely fine. I don't like this at all. This kind of completely ruins their identity, I feel. And it also gives them food in the mid game for no reason. Maybe it makes them less predictable. Some people in the chat like it. I personally don't like it. Let me know in the comments in the YouTube video what you guys think about this one. It's already a pretty polarizing tech. Unless, maybe I'm just being a loud hater, a loud minority. Maybe everyone likes it and I'm just really loud. I don't like it. It's overall a buff though, but I just don't think that Lithuanians needed a buff in this way, to be honest. But who knows? Alright, Malay, new bonus infantry armor upgrades for free. Huh? Wait, what? We're getting all infantry armor for free? Oh my, that's a huge buff. To read it after this one, just crazy. That's huge. Wait, what are the applications here? Men at arms with +1/+1 in early game? Karambits getting really strong off the bat. Free 200 swordsmen with gambesons. Did they get gambesons? And they get all the upgrades for free? That's like a better Bulgarian bonus. And late game Halbs. Arbalest into Halb. Wait, you go Arbalest, you switch into Halb, your Halb is fully upgraded, at least in the armor department. Yo, this is great. That's a huge buff for Malay. And they get gambesons, so 200 swordsmen are going to be so dangerous. That is crazy. Wow, okay. Infantry armor upgrades for free. That's from the blacksmith. Am I reading this correctly? Yeah, I think it is. Malians. Villager now drop off 50% more gold. Previously, gold mines last 30% longer. Oh, that's cool. Wait, that's really good, actually. That's really good. That means you're basically mining gold 15% faster. But not only that, you're actually getting 15% more gold from your gold mine. That's really good. Yeah, Malians are back to being sick again. Yeah, this is a huge change. And I like that, because Malians are a cool civ. Good change. Props, devs. That was cringe. Polls. Villagers don't regenerate in Dark Age. Terrible English grammar here, I believe. Okay, that's just to stop the Vill Rush from polls. Who's getting Vill Rushed, by the way? Are you guys getting terrorized on the ladder at like 400 elo? Just getting Vill Rushed after Vill Rush? They're nerfing Berbers, they're nerfing Pol. Who's getting Vill Rushed, guys? Talk to me. Call me. Seek help. Who is getting Vill Rushed? Like, someone's getting destroyed by Vill Rushes. It might be a Microsoft employee, to be honest. He's like, this shit's broken. I'm nerfing it all, you know. I'm done with getting Vill Rushed. I made this game. I'm gonna change it now. Okay. Next we have Sicilians. Castles built 50% faster. TC is still 100%. Previously 100% for each. Okay, I like that nerf because not that Sicilians are strong. Wait, why are Sicilians getting nerfed? Can they get buffed a little bit in exchange? Okay, I think that they might get buffed in exchange. I like this change because castles being built 100% faster is really weird. So this is nice. First Crusade costs 400 food, 300 gold, and it spawns only 5 sergeants per TC. Another nerf. Okay, but it's cheaper. So it's cheaper, but you get less units. Dungeons can train pike line now. Oh, okay. So the dungeon can make sergeants and halbs. Elite sergeant costs 800 food, 675 gold. That's a good change. That's a really good change. I like this change. These changes are good. It's a buff to Sicilians overall, but it's a change. And I think your dungeons, now in early game, you can make a dungeon on your gold. Don't make a barracks, make a dungeon on your gold, defend you against archers, and then you can make spears to defend you against scouts, right? So in early game, you can play around your dungeons a bit more and maybe greed up the castle age and then just boom, for example. In late game, you can go for sergeant halb compositions, pretty solid. Oh, the dungeon also unlocks range and stable. You don't need a barracks anymore until you want to get like squires or you want to make militia line. So you can go dungeon on your gold, start a feudal age or on your wood, and then you can make spears. Pretty sick. I don't mind this. I don't mind this at all. I don't know how popular this will be because it has a downside. You can only make the dungeon in feudal age, so you can't prepare it in dark age. So if you want to go scouts with Sicilians, you have to go feudal age, make a dungeon, wait till it's finished, and then make a stable. Whereas you can normally make the barracks, you get feudal age, and then right away you have the stable. So it has its downsides, but it's going to be interesting to see what people do with this civ. Slavs, they get gambesons for free. Good change. I like this one. Boyars cost 60 food, 70 gold. Previously 50 food, 80 gold. Changed it up a little. I like that change. Food is easier for Slavs to get, so that's nice. And Yushina cost 900 food, 500 gold. Previously 1200 food, 500 gold. Good change. Triple buff for the Slavs. Clap in the chat. Slavs, one of the bottom civs for a long time now. And they're a fun civ in general. So nice to see them getting some love here. I expect Slav infantry with some Hussar monk siege behind it to be really strong. Slavs might skyrocket to a top of B tier from the depths of D tier. So it's a pretty big buff, honestly. I don't see them being like a top civ, but I see them being pretty solid. Next we have Spanish. New bonus, receive 20 gold for each research tech. Oh, no. We don't like this. I don't like this. Receive 20 gold for each research tech. So I get double bid axe and horse collar. Boom, I get $40. Okay. And then I get fletching on my archers. It doesn't cost gold. I get $20 more. Then I pick up bloodline. And then I go for forging and attack and armor. I pick up bloom, $20. Then I get forging, $20. I just made $100. in feudalage. This is not bad. I don't like the tech because it's weird. Like, it's really weird to get money when you research the tech. Oh, you upgrade to feudalage, $20. This is a bit too many dollars for me, to be honest. This is a bit weird. But that's fair. Non-elite conquistador base armor 1, previously 2. Oh, they nerfed the conch. Okay. That's fair. Conch is kind of broken. That's kind of fair. Inquisition now also grants +1 range to missionaries. Okay. Buff to missionaries. Fair enough. And that's it for the Spanish. So they get buffed overall, but they get the conch nerfed. That's fine. That's fine. It's a bit gimmicky, but that's fine, I guess. Spanish cannon galleons with more base damage and splash damage are going to demolish squished up boats too. Okay, so that's a change we didn't see here, but apparently their cannon galleons get now more base damage and splash damage, which is nice. So cannon galleons for Spanish might be really strong. All right, next up we have Turks. Artillery costs 600 food, 650 gold. Before it was 450 wood, 400 gold. So now it costs food and gold and not wood and gold. Man, artillery costs stone first, then wood, now food. We're going to go full circle. They tried everything. They're trying to make this work. They tried every resource. Fair enough. And they also nerfed the tech in general. It costs way more now. This is a good change. It's going to nerf fast imp Turks the most. Going to be harder to afford food than wood. Vietnamese paper money costs 500 food, 200 wood instead of gold. That's good. That's a good change. Makes no sense to pay gold to get gold. That's weird. Vikings, chieftains, infantry. Now I'll go gets gold for killing Vil. I don't know what this word is. Now get gold for killing Vils. 5 gold, trade units 20 gold, and monks 20 gold. Ah. Oh, now also, okay. That's a buff to chieftains. Again, it's weird. It's weird because we're getting gold for killing units. This is a different mechanic into the game. This is a completely brand new mechanic. You gotta spend money to get money. They're teaching us like some freaking investor mindset here, I think. I mean, it's going to make them better for raiding, but I don't see my infantry killing a lot of monks, nor trade carts, maybe villagers, but those only cost for 5 gold. That's fair. It's like Kashix. It's going to be nice, not a huge deal. New Imperial unique tech, Boggs Wagar. 650 food, 500 gold. Archerline and longbows get +1 attack. Huge! A buff to Vikings. I made a video on my channel recently saying how Vikings are buns on land maps. Now they're gonna get buffed. This could be huge. Archerline getting a +1 attack is pretty good. That's gonna be solid actually. Yeah, their arbalest will be quite strong against cavalry, for example. They still don't have thumb rings, so they're not gonna be insane, but that's fine. Okay, I know a bit more about this tech actually. Longboats get naturally 1 less attack. So this doesn't buff longboats. It just it makes them weaker until you get this tech. So it's actually a nerf to longboats. Also, the healing from Berserker Gang is regular into Berserks now. They get that healing from the start. So this is a massive buff to Vikings, both on their Archer line and their Berserker line. And then lastly, guys, Portuguese elite organ gun base damage is now 7. Instead of 9, with 5 instead of 6 projectiles. So a nerf to organ gun. Oh no. No, sorry, elite is in brackets. So 7 base damage, elite is 9 with 5, and elite has 6 projectiles. I don't know how this changes, to be honest. It's a complete change. I don't understand that one. Okay, and that's it. Now, this isn't all of their changes for this patch. However, this is most of them. Let me know what you guys think about this patch in general, guys. It's a pretty long video, but it's a pretty big patch. I have a couple more changes coming from the chat. On Nomad style maps, the first town center to be built no longer benefits from the Spanish construction speed bonus. The Spanish got nerfed on Nomad. Okay, that's cool. And yeah, it's going to be overall very refreshing balance, as the guy is saying in the chat. And I think it's going to be geared a lot more towards infantry. We'll see how it plays out, guys. I'm excited to break it down to you once it comes to the live servers and play a bunch of games on it. Thank you so much for watching the video. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace. Stay safe. Catch you later.